episode 7 of the ZBK podcast. I'm Chris, only here with AJ this week. We're missing Josh, unfortunately, but hey, on to bigger, better. He'll be back soon. AJ, how you doing this week?
I'm doing all right. It's been a pretty decent week.
Good, man. Good. That's what we like to hear. I'm excited for the main segment this week. AJ took this last week and wrote our main segment, so I'm excited for you guys to get to hear it. On our notes, it's 15 pages, so we're going to dive in as soon as possible, but we're going to start with our highlights of the week. AJ, what's your highlight of the week this week?
I think the EAFC cover is plenty of highlight this week. If those of you who don't know, FIFA, the soccer video game, no longer has the name FIFA because FIFA no longer wants to give that name away and they don't want to work with EA anymore. And so now it is called EAFC, and they just released their cover. And if you have not seen it, you should look it up. It literally looks AI generated, and the characters look like Sims.
They really do. I saw a meme that it was the new cover of EAFC is literally the Sims 2 cover. It's so bad.
Yeah, the Sims 2 cover. And if you know what any of the players look like, or any of the players on there, it's the most random collection of players that just wouldn't fit on the cover. But I digress. EA thought it was a good cover, I guess. They're gonna roll with it, but gladly it's not the main cover.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's not the main cover, but it's pretty funny. Look it up.
Yeah, man, EAFC, a new era of soccer video games. Like you said, bro, it's a hodgepodge of players. They added women into Ultimate Team this year, so you can play with your women and your men at the same time.
And your men at the same time.
Yeah, that should make things a lot more interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what EA puts out in a month or so when the game comes out. All right, my highlight of the week. Let's just stay in soccer. We're not going to talk much more about soccer this week. So USA played Canada Sunday night in the Gold Cup. We beat Canada tied 2-2 after extra time, went to penalties and won 5-4, or 3-2 in pens. Sorry, 3-2 in pens. Matt Turner saved 2 of the 4 pens that were taken. The last one went off the crossbar for the U.S. to win and move on to the semifinals, where we'll play Panama on Wednesday night, which should be the day you're seeing this podcast. So as you're seeing this, they'll be playing Panama, hopefully. Hopefully come out with a win and move on to the final against either Mexico or Jamaica. I hope we play Mexico. Because Jamaica are honestly too good for our B team and C team that we put out for this tournament. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully another win for BJ Callahan and his interim before we get the almighty Greg Berhalter back.
The Greg Berhalter comes back. Oh boy, yeah.
Let's just enjoy BJ Callahan while we can. With that, look, let's give a highlight of the week for Josh. Since he's not here, we'll speak on his behalf. His highlight of the week is going to be Victor Wembanyama and Brandon Miller in the Summer League. Brandon Miller looks like absolute bust material after a few games, and Wembanyama, after a strugglesome shooting game in his first game, his second game he absolutely balled out. 27 points, 13 rebounds, a lot better shooting splits. I think he shot 80% from 3 in that game. So in honor of Josh not being here, we'll talk basketball. Wembanyama looks to be the real deal, and now he's being shut down for the entire rest of the summer league. He played 2 games. He's not going to play until October. So it was fun.
He scored what, 27? His last game.
Yeah. He played really well.
Yeah, he played well. We'll see. I still am not high on him. He needs to play a real NBA team.
He needs to bulk up.
Say anything.
He needs to bulk up a little bit more, but look, man, that summer league performance, he played really well, played good enough. We'll see what October brings. It's going to be a fun race for Rookie of the Year with him and Chet and Scoot Henderson when Damian Lillard finally gets traded.
Yeah.
All right, with that, let's go ahead. Let's just dive right in. AJ, this has been your prized possession of the podcast. Let's dive into Dive into baseball. Let's do a whole baseball episode.
If you hate baseball, don't watch this. But if you want to get into baseball, maybe listen. But this is going to be a long segment, so bear with us.
Strap
We're
in,
going to talk
folks.
every single team at
Woo.
the All-Star break
Yeah, as we're
and
recording
the
this,
record.
on a Monday night, the home run derby is going on right now. The All-Star game is Tuesday. So you'll see this after the All-Star break essentially is over. So let's
They start playing Friday, yeah?
Yeah, Friday that first series back.
Yeah. So you will essentially be seeing this just before games start again.
Perfect.
So we will start with the American League, and we'll talk about the very vaunted American League East. And first up, we have the Rays. We're now the second best team in baseball. They sit at 57-34. It was a strong start, tapered down. That just tapered down, and injuries to the starting rotation and lack of relief pitching and not a great away record is kind of just kind of the cracks are beginning to show, especially for a team that started off breaking records, which is a great start. But I'm just glad that we got out with a win before break, because we were on a 7-game losing streak and it wasn't looking too hot. But
no, it was not.
So I'm just glad that we got a win there, and then hopefully we'll bounce back. I think we kind of run away with the division, hopefully, but that's bias.
Yeah, that our away record is not great. I remember when we were out west and they started doing late night with the Rays, and we literally kept losing games and losing games. I was like, dude, I think we lost 2 of 3 from Oakland and 2 of 3 from Seattle back to back. It was
come on.
This is rough. This is rough.
Right. And the standouts from this team are Wander Franco at the averaging 284 and an OPS of 810, which is incredible. Yeah. And then Randy with a solid 278 average and starting all-star spot, which is impressive.
Yeah,
I would say,
to be fair, Wander is also in the All-Star game.
Wander also is an All-Star game, but he was not. He was added in later.
Yeah, he was the alternate.
Yeah. So, and I also will say Shane before his injury, he's dealing with some back soreness, which is good, because if it was an elbow, I'd be very scared. Yeah. But an 11-1 record and only 2.53 ERA allowed, and he's just a Cy Young candidate if he ever comes back.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
I think he'll be back after the All-Star break. They were saying, Kevin Kessler was saying he'll be pitching on the 16th of July. So right after that All-Star break, I believe it's next Sunday. That he'll be pitching again. So it should be he should be good to go.
There you go. And he's a Cy Young candidate if I've ever seen one. If he comes back to form, of course. But
he's probably
and then so we'll move on. Yeah, we'll move on to the next squad. We have the Baltimore Orioles sitting at 52-35, having an underrated season. Truly showing other baseball teams how to rebuild properly. Years to suck, and they have a lot of names and a lot of star power. Or like they don't have a lot of names and star power. They don't have household names, but they play well and they pitch decent and they just get wins. They just string wins together.
Yeah.
And they're also still on our heels, like legitimately. I mean, I took these records, I believe, on Saturday, and so I'm sure they're only like 5 games back now. 5 or 6 games back.
They are 2 games back now.
They're 2 games back now, so that's cool. Yeah, so they definitely still have a chance to win the AL East. We haven't played them that much this season. Maybe not at all. I think we played them like 1 series.
Yeah. So
we still have a lot. We still have a lot to play for with them. And the standouts for them is Austin Hayes with an incredible average of 312 and an OPS of 843, and he has not slowed down yet. And Anthony Santander, who's usually solid, having a 270 average and a respectable 14 home runs to his name. And then a Felix Bautista with a stingy 1.07 ERA and being one of the best closers right now. And honestly, the entire pitching staff for them is pretty
Yeah.
much lights out. They're good. They're good. And they get to shop at the deadline this year. So I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
they're no longer the days of losing 100 games anymore. So
No,
they
they're not.
Adley Rutschman and is that number one pick has really panned out for them. And Santander has bounced back every year. Austin Hayes is a name I haven't heard in a while. So it's good to see him batting 312.
312 is no slouch.
No, it's not, man. And Bautista,
So,
dude, that guy is just he's one of those guys you love to have in your bullpen because he's not going to let you down.
right.
It's huge.
We'll move on to the next team now with the Toronto Blue Jays. I said perfectly average, but honestly, I might be giving them too much credit because like they're so underachieving right now.
Yeah, they are.
Sitting at 49 and 40, like they're definitely underachieving for like the talent that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, like they're still hanging around in games, and the hitters are still hitting. But I think a little bit more needs to come from the pitching staff, and like obviously there's a whole situation with Alex Manoah, like being a dummy, getting sent down, and like Jose Barrios has been off this year, and just like it's just been kind of funky for them. They're at 49 and 40, so they're not dead yet. But I'm not gonna be surprised if they eventually get hot. But right now they're in a bit of a funk. They're not looking amazing.
They always get hot though. Like they're that team that
yeah.
I mean we say that every year in baseball they're average for the first half, and then in August they get hot. They get hot and finish the year. But dude, that Alex Manoah thing is just laughing stock, bro. He got sent down to like bottom of the bottom barrel in the
I think AAA, right? Yeah.
No, he was in Class A, bro. He was in like
Clearwater,
Clearwater Threshers level league. Like that just blows my mind, bro. He came back and he actually had a really good start in his first game back in the Blue Jays, but he even got rocked in the minors, bro. So their pitching staff is just going through it.
Yeah, I don't be shocked if they stand out. I mean, and don't be shocked if they get hot again. But we got the players who are doing really well. Bo Bichette, kind of under the radar for major news about the best players this season, but 3.2 like a 3.23 average and 15 home runs.
Yeah,
probably won't stop anytime soon.
He won't. He does this every year.
I would say, and Vladimir Jr. is not really having a stand-up performance this year as he was last year.
Yeah,
he had a good year, but he has a respectable 280 and 13 home runs. But I think he'll get better as the year goes on. There's no way he doesn't. He's a hitter.
When he gets hot, the team gets hot. But I was watching the Derby for a little bit tonight, and they were talking about him, and they were saying his batting stance and his swing is different this year. So he's not hitting the ball as hard like for home runs, but he's hitting more line drive singles and doubles and stuff like that. So I think we're going to see his home run numbers drop, but I think that average 280 for a guy like him is above really where he ever should be. Yeah.
Right. Because he's usually boom or bust because he's a home run hitter or not. But a 13 home runs is pretty good for someone who said apparently they're saying he isn't trying to hit home runs. So
yeah.
And then we'll move on
New York
to the New York Yankees. Yep, New York. Also a sluggish start. Also, by the way, these are ranked where they stand in the division. So New York is sitting 4th in the AL East, which is usually not regular, but
that just goes to show how good
Toronto are flipping.
That just goes to show how good this division is, man. Like, I mean, we're gonna talk about Boston in a second being 5th, but every team in this division is above 500.
Right.
Like, and that, like, you go down most other divisions don't have that.
Right, with a plus run differential, by the way, as well. All teams have a positive run differential. Yeah. So, also New York having a sluggish start, a team that always has expectations. Injury to Garrett Cole to start didn't help. He's back now, but so he'll probably round out.
Yeah.
And a recent injury to Aaron Judge also doesn't help.
That's going to kill him.
For a month now. Yeah, and they just looked awful without him. But I mean, the bats are usually exceptional in New York. I can't say that they're not. Like, Anthony Volpe. Most of them are batting over 200, and I expect this team to get hotter as the season goes on. I feel like they're just the team in like early season, just like they're never like amazing. Like they'll get wins, but they're never like really that good. But then like mid-July, like late July, they just get real hot. Like they have prestige. They have names. They have hitting. They do have hitting.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but
what if they don't have enough? If they don't have enough, they're just gonna go buy it at the deadline. Like
exactly. And they're one of those teams that even when they suck, they can just go buy more. So
yeah, man, like the names that they're being talked about to go get at the deadline are like Cody Bellinger and Andrew McCutchen, and like just names that have been around for a while, and that can power them to the playoffs again.
Right. And then my standouts for this team is Aaron Judge. I mean, I know obviously we just said he's been out with a toe injury for a while now, but I mean, clearly the team needs him. He's doing Aaron Judge things. And I mean, he's just a threat at the plate, and you never want to give up a fastball to him.
That's true.
And then I have our first bad standout. So there's a couple of these because I think these players are horrendous and they should be recognized for that.
That's fair.
Giancarlo Stanton, biggest waste of money in New York. 199 average as a DH. He does nothing else but hit. And he had a 199. And as this video is being recorded, yes, he had a two homer I believe game like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
It might have helped out his average. But 199 as a DH is awful.
Yeah, he's literally getting paid 2 hit.
He's getting paid 2 hit. He doesn't do any field work anymore. And he's
bro.
And then I also have Clay Holmes, who's had a quality season with a record of 4-2 and a year of 229.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
He's been good, yeah.
And then
he's solid for them.
And I'm sure they'll get more. They're a team that's definitely going to get more pitching at the deadline because they don't have that much right now. But they will probably get somebody.
They'll always find something.
Yeah, and then we now have the last team in the division, the Boston Red Sox, sitting at 46-43. Once again, I reiterate, these records probably aren't completely accurate, but this is what I took on Saturday of when we're recording this. But I would say what a fall from grace for the Red Sox they're experiencing. And it's not like they have a bad record. It's just not the standard that the organization is used to, that they've just upheld for so many years. And like I say, 46-43 is not a bad record, especially compared to some of the other divisions that we're going to talk about. But it's only good enough for dead last in the competitive division that is the AL East. They've been average, and like you can see like there's promise in the team, and they can but then they go on like 8-game losing streaks, and that can't happen.
Yeah, not in the AL East. I mean, the Rays are seeing that now with Baltimore catching us now. So it's just one of those things where it's like, and they also kind of fail to replace some of the talent that they've shed over the years, like the better veterans that they had. Yeah. Like the infielding has been less than substandard. Like after losing Xander Bogaerts, it's like just one of those things where it's like, yeah, they haven't really gotten much better after losing some of their better guys. But they do have a standout. And when I talk about like not great teams or at least last place teams, I'm probably only going to talk about one guy. Masahiko Yoshida is pretty good. He's pretty decent. I think this is his second season in the show. Right? I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they signed him as a free agent a couple seasons ago, and 312 average, 9 home runs, but clearly him and Jarren Duran are not enough to keep the team afloat. So
no, they're not.
Also an injured Kike, I assume, because I did not see him when I looked it up.
Yeah, I think he's been off and on the injury list this season, I believe. So
yeah. Not like Kike is a great hitter, but he helps defense-wise.
He does. But, yeah, so dang, dude, the AL East, man, it's always fun. It's always competitive. And I mean, between the Rays and Boston as of the beginning of the All-Star break, it's a 9 games between the Rays and Boston. So
right?
it's
So
still anybody's
any
division.
team, yeah, any team could win it. It's always going to be. I think will always be the most competitive division in baseball.
As we should.
No
There's no
matter
reason
what.
for us not to be.
Right.
All right, where are we
But
going?
now we move on to the AL Central,
Ooh.
and oh my goodness! All right,
This is bad. This is bad.
the Minnesota. We talk about the Minnesota Twins. So I just said Boston's record is like 46-43. The Twins are set at 45-44. So
Yeah. So Boston
there's your
literally would be
gauge.
winning this division. Boston would be winning
Yeah.
this division if they were in it. That's crazy. Gosh.
And I'll say most of these teams are middling to average, but as Minnesota stands above the rest of the garbage pile with decent talent throughout the lineup and serviceable pitching. And the only inevitable thing with this team is when Byron Buxton breaks down again, and this team loses the division to the Guardians. So they're just like inconsistent for me. Even the hitters that like you'd think would be pretty good are just not that good. Like I have in the standouts, so like Carlos Correa is okay with the volume he has, but like he's not even their highest average.
No,
Donovan Solano. Yeah, Donovan Solano with a 276 average and 21 RBI. I just they're pretty crap. I'm not gonna lie. There's not a lot to talk about with them.
Yeah.
If they make the playoffs, they never go far. I think it's just the AL Central in general, but like I'm just not. It's whatever. Because next we have the Cleveland Guardians, who are sitting 44-45, but I'm sure that these teams have like the same record at this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's another average team, and who in this cluster could still pull out away with the division. And I will say the bats are not bad.
Yeah.
But the pitching, the choke, especially the closers, just awful, just not good enough to win games. Because honestly, like if they did that, they'd probably have like an 8-game lead on Minnesota, if we're being honest.
They would.
But I can't talk about any of these AL Central teams with any enthusiasm.
I mean, I can't blame you, bro. Like I mean, comparing to every other division in the American League, at least, like this division is just awful, and they're awful every year.
They always are one and done. Whichever team makes it, they're one and done. And they just, this team does have standouts. The hitter, like I said, the bats aren't bad. Josh Naylor, Jose Ramirez, Will Brennan, all having good bats. Josh Naylor with an over 300 average.
Yeah.
But they really need, if they really want to go anywhere, they need pitching badly at the deadline if they want to get to the postseason.
Yeah, their pitching's not great. I mean, Shane Bieber's been all right. I mean, they don't have Carrasco anymore. I don't see Carrasco on their roster, but like their pitching, they just haven't replaced any of their, when they had Corey Kluber, they had
right.
Then they had what's the guy from the Dodgers that got suspended? Wasn't Bauer a Guardian at one point?
I believe so.
I think he was, and then Carrasco. Like that was when the Guardians were the Indians and they were good, and they were getting good pitching and they were doing stuff like that. But they don't have that anymore, and I feel like that's why this division just keeps going down because they lose all their stars to these bigger divisions. I mean, think about it. Right. Correa wanted to leave Minnesota this summer, and literally he failed 2 medicals. And he could not move.
And he did not. Yeah.
So,
they just.
It's bad.
And bad. Move on to the third team.
Yeah, bro.
Detroit Tigers.
This is third place, bro. And what do you?
This is third place at 38-49.
Oh my
gosh. As of the record it showed,
That's
and like they could still win the division. That is possible, but
that's the sad thing.
They're just a team with promise. The talent, there's no talent in this squad. There's like no names.
No.
Not like Javi Baez and a relic in Miguel Cabrera. That's it.
Sorry, Tigers fans.
Yeah, sorry, Tigers fans. I know a couple. Like, I give them slack because this is the
Yeah.
first season with AJ Hinch, who I
Yeah.
think is a good manager. And, like, no one's turning this team around. Like, no one's
Not
fortunate
yet.
enough to turn this team around what they have. Like,
Mhm.
and so hopefully that means that they sell at the deadline what they have. They
Mhm.
reload for next year. But at least it's not as bad as last year.
Yeah, last
But
year was
to
really
be
bad.
fair, all you could go here is up. The only way you could have gone is up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're sorry, Tigers fans. The record isn't too bad, but I can't see you getting any better this year than what you've shown so far.
And they probably won't.
Yeah, win the division for me, all right?
Yeah,
But
hopefully soon.
so stand up. So earlier, like they have Javi Baez and Miguel Cabrera, but honestly, not the best average on the team. But recently injured Riley Green had the best average with a 296.
Hmm.
But other than that, the numbers for him aren't great. And he also is now injured. He's on the IL. So he was heating up. He was definitely heating up, but it kind of sucks that he went down to injury.
Yeah.
And hopefully Javi Baez can start hitting a lot better because I think he's sitting at 262, and he's a lot better than that. So
Yeah. Ever since Javi Baez left the Cubs, though, he's been a shell of himself. So I don't
that's
foresee him
true.
doing any better than what he did. But all right. Poor Tigers fans,
All
bro.
right, and
Poor Tigers
yeah,
fans.
poor Tigers. But you were not the next team on this list,
That's true.
which is the Chicago White Sox at 38 and 52. And I just heard like a clip from like a White Sox fan. It is
Hmm.
funny. I don't know if you've ever like if any of you've heard it, like whoever's listening. Pretty funny, just talking about just trashing the team and just saying like how they don't know how to use prospects and like they don't know how to rebuild or anything like that. And it's kind of true and I feel like this team has squandered the opportunity to be good a couple seasons ago when
Yeah.
they had decent talent and a decent rotation. But I mean, they still have hope. They still have some. There's still talent on the team. But I mean, if they're smart, they're selling at the deadline, and they're trying to get prospects back. They're trying to get cash. Like they really need to turn back and be like, yeah, it's not good anymore.
They need a time machine,
And
man. They need a time machine.
yeah, like after losing Tony La Russa, like which was an awful experience for the team.
That was
Like I think it kind of left a number on the team as well. It shed the talent that they had because they hated Tony,
yeah.
and then and then now they're left with basically nothing. But
Symbolic.
and then my standouts, I just gotta say Yuri Grandal because I like Yuri Grandal, but he's just having an average season. But
Yeah.
anybody else, you're gonna be like, who?
Yeah.
So Yuri Grandal, have a season, buddy.
Yeah. To be fair,
And then now
Luis Robert Jr. made the home run derby for the White Sox, so at least they have some shimmering
he
light.
did. Yeah, they have some shimmering light, but if they're smart, he goes for assets at the
Yes.
deadline.
Yep. Hopefully.
Yeah. But we now have the worst team in the AL Central, the Kansas City Royals. Uh, this is the real bad. This team is so far removed from the championship squad in 2015 that I think if you asked Royals fans, they wouldn't think it would have gotten this bad.
Yeah.
It's just like it's not a lot going on here. This team can't field. This team can't pitch. This team can't hit. At 25 and 64, it just speaks for itself. They
Yeah.
are they are pretty much tied with the Athletics in being the worst team in baseball. So, but I mean, strangely, a lot of wins on the road. The 25 or 26, wherever they have now, lots of those are on the road. Good for them. Get prospects in soon. And then the standouts from this team, Mikel Garcia is hitting at a decent clip, but I'm pretty sure he also just went on the IL. So other than that, this team is a wasteland and a bunch of washed up guys. There's not a whole lot going on in
Yeah,
Kansas City.
not a lot of spent time. They don't care about baseball anymore there, bro. They only care about Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
Patrick Mahomes, yeah. So there you go, 2 divisions down in the American League. We have 1 division left. We're gonna starting out with we're gonna finish the American League with the AL West.
Yeah.
And a surprise leader still, I believe. I don't
Mhm.
know still, but
Yeah, they are.
the Texas Rangers at 52-37 to lead the AL West. And I guess the spending that the Rangers do finally paid off, because I mean, I say adding DeGrom here, but I know he also went down with injury. But I mean, the pitching, buying a bullpen finally worked out for them, because the pitching otherwise has been pretty good.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, when he comes back, he'll probably be good, and he needed to leave the Mets anyway. So
Everybody needs to leave the Mets.
if you want pitchers, don't develop them. Just buy a whole rotation. And it's working for the Rangers, but the Astros will always be there waiting. So I'm sorry, Rangers. And your lineup is pretty good too. Corey Seager and Marcus Semien are having really good seasons. So
yeah, Corey Seager. What do you got here? Corey Seager batting 361.
361, 52 RBI. But honestly, most of the lineup is hot, with multiple guys having double-digit home run numbers, like Marcus Semien and I don't know their name.
You got Seager, you got Semien, you got Adolis Garcia, you got Jonah Heim.
Yeah, Adolis.
You got Nate Lowe, who used to be on the Rays. Like, dude, they have a star-studded lineup now, man. They should have no problem winning this division.
They shouldn't,
but
behind them is the Houston Astros, who sit around what the Yankees are, and to be honest, they're very off for the defending champs. I understand the injuries, but honestly, can we ever count them out?
No, you can't.
It seems like even after scandal, they got stronger. And I know the record isn't indicative of what they are, but they have talent. And it's like the Yankees. Like the Yankees, they'll always be a team that when you play them down in August and September, you're not going to want to play them. And also, how about Kyle Tucker?
Kyle Tucker, man,
he's having a pretty good season. Yeah,
he's that guy for them. And losing Correa, someone else had to step up to be there alongside Altuve.
Altuve.
Go ahead.
Altuve's injured, so that's why I say the injuries haven't helped. Jose Abreu's been
abysmal.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Abysmal, bro.
Bro is like, 1 week he's like, wow, I'm good, and then the next week he'll be like, I am the worst player in baseball.
Yeah, man. They needed somebody to step up besides Yordan Alvarez, and Kyle Tucker's been doing that for a little bit now, but he's just been under the radar, so it's good to see him get his props.
But now he's picking up the slack for everybody else. But yeah, I personally wouldn't want to play this team when the injured guys come back, and when they get hot again. They're probably going to be representing the AL again. That wouldn't shock me. This is a team that goes deep every year.
I hate playing that.
And then my standout. And my standout from this team is not a batter. It would be a pitcher, Hector Neris.
Yeah.
And he's one bad man with an ERA of 147. He just makes people suffocate at that plate. He's been pretty good, and so is most of the pitching staff there. Also dealing with a little bit of injury, but these guys will bounce back. There's no doubt in my mind. Yeah.
So Framber Valdez has also been really good for them out of their starting rotation, but Hector Neris, he's a different animal right now. He should be proud of it.
Now we go to the third place team, Seattle, who sits at 44 and 43. And just like a team who they were hot last year, they just really haven't captured the magic again. The magic that they had last year. There's still time, but they
Mhm.
might have put themselves into a hole too early a little
Yeah.
bit with the Rangers and the Astros
Mhm.
still being all right. And Julio Rodriguez is still elite. His glove is at least, but he
Yeah.
needs his bat to be a little bit more consistent. And so does this team in general. Like,
Yeah,
so
maybe his home runs in this home run derby will boost his batting for this because
right.
he hit 41 home runs in the first round, which is a new record for the home run derby in the first round, and we'll see. He's actually batting right now as we're talking. So well, you're talking about Julio
There you go.
as he's hitting homers. So
262 is not great, man. It's
it's a
not good for him.
it's not good for him. It's above
Yeah,
average for the MLB, but for Julio
right.
Rodriguez's
But for
standards,
Julio,
yeah, he
he
needs
needs
to
to
do
be
better.
doing better. And for my standouts, I'm tempted just to say Julio because his glove has been pretty good. His defense has been pretty good this season.
And he's just
But
fun to
Ty
watch.
France, yeah, Ty France, the first
Mm-hmm.
baseman, holds the team's best hitting average with a 267 and 36 RBI. But Julio has some home runs this year or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right, let's move on to
And then
Purgatory.
on to the next team. Yeah, the Los Angeles Angels.
Bro, Purgatory.
Oh boy. Same story every year. I think this team is cursed. And I said, when will this team ever play to the potential that they are? Oh yeah, when Artie sells the team.
Dude,
It's just
it,
Shohei.
I don't get it, AJ. I don't get it. Like they are the team that like they have the star power and they have the star power, but bro, how are you this consistently bad? How? Every year they are in the same position that they are. Like
Right.
do something different.
Shohei does the usual. Mike
Mhm.
Trout has already hit his annual injury.
Yes.
He hit his 4 to 8 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, on his wrist. Yeah.
And I said the rest of the team is kind of uninspired, especially the pitching. The batters are fine, a little bit
Yeah.
all right, but the pitching just uninspired. And like every other year, the pitching holds this team back.
Mhm.
And then just enjoy Shohei while you can, Angels fans, because this might be the last season you see him in an Angels uniform.
Yeah, he's being quoted at like 600 mil over like 13 years. So
Right.
I don't see him re-signing with the Angels after their purgatory season.
There's
So
no way.
if Shohei
I
goes, Mike
mean,
Trout goes.
right. I wrote here 424 runs allowed. That is abysmal.
And we're only at the
That is
All-Star break.
unacceptable. Yeah, that is unacceptable. But here's the thing: they scored like 460 something, but they let up 424. Unacceptable.
So
And
bad.
also, Anthony Rendon was a big waste of money. So
He should have just stayed in Washington, bro. Goodness
yeah.
gracious.
And the standouts, who else but Otani, who might be one of the MLB's best talents, having a GOAT debate for him right now. He's having his GOAT season right now. People are saying he's better than Babe ever was, probably myth-wise. But the stats are just ridiculous with 297 average, 7-4 record while he's pitching. But surprisingly, he's not the best he's not the best batting average on the team. It's Gio Urshela with a 299.
Yeah.
But
Urshela
297 averages.
Urshela getting out of New York is good for him. Okay, so Shohei Ohtani hit 14 home runs in the final 20 games before the break. Do you want to know what his average was for the month of June? He batted 427 in the month of June.
Yeah.
His stats on the year: 394 batting, 15 home runs in June, and then 29 RBIs.
Right.
Just in June. That's just in June alone.
Just in June.
That's he should be in that conversation for greatest. So
he's having a season. Future Yankee, future Red Sox, right there. Future Dodger,
God, no.
whatever he chooses.
Let him go to the Dodgers, bro.
Whatever team he decides that. Well, I'm just naming the teams that will shell out that kind of money.
Go to San Diego, bro. Go play with Manny and Fernando.
San Diego has no money.
What do you mean? MLB has no salary cap. They have plenty of money.
I don't think the owner has the money after spending on a bunch of others.
We'll see. Yeah.
But the Angels aren't the worst in the division. We have the Oakland Athletics, who, oh gosh, it's more depressing to talk about them because like they actually have fans, like they actually have people who care about them, and this team isn't even fun to make fun of. Like that's what I said. Like they've been bad for a while, and with a skimpy payroll and owners who basically have screwed over the fans with releasing that they're moving to Vegas like a random weeknight.
Yeah.
Like any players who have any value are traded away at first sight. I just pity any Athletics fans because I would be miserable personally.
Yeah, we saw they have fans when they played the Rays. They had their reverse boycott.
Right? Yeah, they had their
stadium.
boycott where they went silent for a whole inning and like, yeah, they have fans and like if you ever watch an interview, like they did like an interview with a bunch of A's fans, like they essentially like talking about like the memories that this team had, and it's kind of sad now because they're the last team. They were the last team to be in Oakland, and now they just moved to the tourist trap Vegas, and you know. It's just kind of sad because Oakland definitely was the proud sports team, proud sports city, and it's just kind of sad to see all the teams that were there leave.
Yeah, Vegas is getting all those teams, and it sucks to see it.
Right.
But luckily, like it's not official yet that they're leaving, but we all know that there's some backdoor
It's pretty
deals.
close. Yeah, it's pretty. They already picked out a plot of land for the stadium, like. You know, like,
they got
and it just sucks because, like, yeah, because, like I was saying, like, it's like a tourist trap sort of deal. Because, like, even Raiders fans talk about that, where it's like it doesn't feel the same, you know, like,
no,
like the energy in the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's not the team that those fans grew up watching.
Right. So, and the standouts, anyone they had has been traded. So I guess Eric Ruiz, but he's just having an above average time at the plate with like a 270. I believe 270, 280 range.
Yeah.
So
shoot. All right. Well, that's the American League. I mean, we've gone through
the American League.
Gone through three divisions, 15 teams. All right. It's going to be fun to watch the end of this season come out between the Rays and the Orioles. I think it's going to come out between us two in that division. The Rangers should hopefully win their division, and who gives a crap about the AL Central? If you care about the AL Central, you're really going through it right now. So we'll be praying for you.
Yeah, we pray for you.
All right. Speaking of the All-Star break and MLB, we're going to take an All-Star break of our own before we get to the National League. We'll be back in a couple seconds. We're back.
All right.
AJ, take us to the National League.
Let's go. The National League. We'll do the same thing. We'll start with the East again. And we'll start out with the Atlanta Braves, the best team in baseball. Now the best team in baseball. 59-28 as of right now. They probably hit 60, I believe. They hit 60.
They did, yeah.
The other day. So 60 wins. Good for them. What more to say? The talent just oozes out of the roster. Acuna's back. The lineup is scary and hot. And not to mention lights out pitching. The Mets wish this was the season they were having with a $250 million payroll. I just like Acuna, and my standout is Acuna Jr. It's obvious, but I think, or Acuna Jr. is the obvious one, but I think Matt Olson deserves some praise because he's having a pretty underrated season, batting over what he's usually projected. But I mean, this team, the lineup is gross. Everybody's batting. I believe they have 4 batters who are over 300, and the rest are 260 over.
Yeah, Osuna.
This team hits.
Yeah, Osuna's the lowest average on their team, and he's at 268. So
yeah. So all right.
Yeah, I just have like when we are obviously like so you and I know, but everybody else doesn't know. Justin Langem, our youth pastor at church, is a huge Atlanta Braves fan. So when they played the Rays over the last weekend of series, like losing games rubbing in our face that we lost and that we couldn't score more than 1 run against the Braves. But to be fair, like playing against the Braves, man, like and just watching their team, like it just almost leaves you speechless. Like Charlie Morton is still pitching really well, and he's in his upper 30s. Like Spencer Strider's come into his own. Max Fried is incredible. Like
Mhm.
Matt Olson was literally predicted to be a bust signing for the Braves, and he's playing incredible. Like Acuna Jr. will always blow my mind of how good of a baseball player he is. Like
Right.
you can't look at any position they have, you can't look and say that it's weak because
It's
literally
weak. Yeah.
every position they have is filled with an all-star caliber player. It's
Right.
ridiculous. It blows my mind.
So they're hot, and they took the loss to the Phillies last year pretty personal, I guess. So,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, number one team in baseball, number one team in the NL East, and we'll go to the second team, which is the Miami Marlins.
Mhm.
A team that has gone pretty much under everybody's nose all season, which is kind of stupid because when you think about it, they have three players in the lineup who bat over a 280,
Oh my gosh.
Luis Arias being a monster, 364 average, and pitching, and the pitching's also been phenomenal.
Yeah.
They have a lot of young guys, and the team is young, but I don't know if they're catching the Braves. So I apologize, Marlins fans, but I think wild card is what's gonna happen for the Marlins if they keep it up. But maybe I eat my words and they win the division. But I think wild card is good enough for them.
Yeah, that's probably where they're gonna end up. I mean, Luis Arias batting 364 is ridiculous, man. Like
He's an animal.
he really is, man. Like, and unfortunately, like it won't be enough to carry them to win the division unless the Braves get
Right.
a couple major injuries. But I think they Marlins have a really good shot at getting that wild card spot this year. It should be good for them.
Right. And so, yeah, and the standout it would be Luis Reyes.
Mhm.
And it's like, who else? If I was a pitcher, I'd walk him every time. Pray that he keeps it up throughout the season.
It's good for baseball,
And we'll
man. It's
move
good for
on. It is good for baseball. And I saw a video the other day about with the Marlins Stadium like having actual fans in it. So,
Mhm.
because the team is doing well. So that's good. That's good because they haven't been the attendance has been lacking for a
Yeah,
couple of years now from the Marlins. So
it's good to see.
yeah, just a team that finally is getting good a little bit. And then next we have the Phillies, the Philadelphia Phillies,
Mhm.
sat at 48-39. And as of recently, the Phillies have caught a little hot streak.
Yeah,
And so before the break, but the real question is like, are they going to reach the same heights as they did last season?
Mhm.
Like, because a World Series appearance was nice, but are they really going to catch that sort of magic again? But anything's possible with the hitting lineup like theirs. But the season
it
will
really
speak for
is.
itself. Like, I mean, yeah, standouts here: Nick Castellanos, the greatest meme, but
Mhm.
uh, 307 average, crushing,
Deep drive left
crushing
center field.
balls.
Nick
Yeah,
Castellanos.
Castellanos, crushing balls. Bryson Stott also crushing balls.
Mhm.
Bryce Harper also crushing balls. And as of recently, Kyle Schwarber also still crushing balls.
Yeah,
So
Brandon Marsh has been good for them as well. You got Trey Turner.
yeah,
Like
Trey Turner
Trey
also
Turner.
crushing balls.
Trey Turner's going under the radar there, bro. And Trey Turner's an
Yeah,
all-star.
yeah.
Their pitching is
So
also incredible. Like I was looking at their roster the other day. Like Taijuan Walker
mhm,
used to be a Met, and Taijuan Walker's been pitching incredible for them. Craig Kimbrell out of the pen. Aaron Nola is the ace that they've
right,
been dreaming of since the late and great Roy Halladay. Gregory Soto's an incredible
yeah,
left-handed pitcher out of the pen. Like this, honestly, bro, this Phillies team is really, in all honesty, underperforming for the stars that they have on their team. Granted,
right.
Atlanta's Atlanta. Miami's having
Mhm,
their crazy good season, but Philly should
yeah,
really be at least challenging Atlanta for that division. But they're 12 as
right,
of today, they're 12 games back.
right.
So
And I mean the hot streak, they're on a little hot streak right now, so hopefully they string together some wins here. But I mean the lineup is gross, so
yeah.
I think they'll also be a team you probably don't want to play later down in the season. But then we move on to the fourth place team in
Woo,
the
the
NL East,
Mets.
our New York Mets at 42-46.
Let's keep
And
dogging on them.
I've already dogged on them when talking about the Braves. But when the payroll is that high, you better get results. and the Mets are not seeing him.
Mm-mm.
The lineup is cold and inconsistent. The pitching is errant. And it's another team where maybe you see a little run out of them and for a wild card. But I think baseball as a whole would just like to laugh at them. I like Lowell Mets still exist. Frank, keep giving us videos. Frank the Tank on Barstool, keep giving us videos about the Mets. I can't get enough of when they're just so bad. It's almost funny. So
It's not even like their roster's that bad
250
either.
No. And like $250 million payroll to
Yeah.
be below average, under 500.
Well, to be fair, most of that is
That's what
going
the
to
odds
like most of that's going to out of their prime pitchers.
Right.
Like they're paying
Yeah,
Carlos Carrasco.
Verlander,
Yeah, Verlander, Scherzer, who both,
Scherzer have all shown their age this season. Like,
yeah, they've been in and out of injuries.
yeah,
Like half their roster,
And
look at this,
just-
half their roster is over the age of 30.
right.
Their average age might be like 32. That's crazy.
And my standouts, another bad standout because I've already dogged on him a little bit, is Pete Alonso
Mhm.
with an abhorrent 215. What a drop for him. Does he even play first base anymore? Is he their DH now?
Yeah, he plays first base still. Not greatly. but he
Okay.
still plays
Well, at
first
least he
base.
has he has fielding for going for him. But oh my goodness, 215 from a guy who was so hot a couple seasons ago,
Yeah.
and he's basically that's what he does. Like, just I guess he'll always have those home run derbies.
It's always good for now, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, he got knocked out in the first round tonight in this home run derby. So I mean, he really
There you
doesn't have
go.
much going on for him right now.
Yeah. So, and then we'll go to last place in the NL East, the Nationals. Just 34-54, and at least you have the memories of 2019,
Mm-hmm.
Nats fans, but still the sting of Juan Soto.
Yeah.
It's been rough. It's been rough for the Nats recently. Steven Strasburg probably will never pitch again, it seems like. He just went out again with nerve damage, which is really sad because he was one of the best pitchers for a little bit.
Yeah,
And
his
just
debut will always be electric.
Right. And and the run of the games hasn't really said anything different. Like the hits have come, but the runs haven't really leaked out. Like it's one of these things where it's like they're not bad, but they're also not great. Like 34-54 is not good, but they just come back next year, Nats fans. Sell whatever you have. Yeah, sell whatever you have. Come back next year. My standouts: Lane Thomas with a 301. I guess that's good enough.
That's all I got. That's all they got left.
That's all they got. So, congrats, Nats. 2019 you'll always have it, but I'm sorry, it's not good.
Yeah. All right.
And that was the NL East. There you go. And now we move on
Good
to
enough.
another hot trash division, but at least it's keeping consistent themes with the NL Central also being bad.
Yeah.
But we do have the top of the top of the teams, which is the Cincinnati Reds, who sit
What
at
a story.
49-40. Yeah, right. 49-40. Another flaming trash heap of division, but somehow the Reds of all teams have emerged as the team at the top. It helps to have Ellie De La Cruz, who's had his coming out party this season.
I love that kid.
And I think for a team predicted to be at the bottom of the league, having him, TJ Friedel, Matt McClain, bat over 300 is an accomplishment in of its own.
Yeah.
Like, this is a team that was projected to be real bad,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that 3 guys are batting over 300 right now is kind of a testament. And of course, Ellie De La Cruz, this is his first month in baseball. I mean, he's the standout here. It's his first month in the show. He's hit a cycle already. He has speed, power, defense. He's on ESPN probably every day he plays. He's good.
I saw this quote and it was like about Ellie, which first of all, before I say the quote, Ellie is literally like, Ellie makes me want to watch baseball more now because like, even if I'm watching just his highlights, like he hit that for the cycle in one of his first games. The other day, he hit his RBI single, stole second base, stole third base, and then stole home all in the same at bat. Like this kid's 20 years old. He's literally in his first month. So the quote says, Ellie De La Cruz is the kind of player who makes non-baseball fans turn into baseball fans. Like he is the guy that could, along with like Shohei, but obviously he's a young guy like Ellie De La Cruz is, and he's a rookie and he's just coming into this league. He's literally the guy that's like turning heads on. If you're watching ESPN, you're seeing Ellie De La Cruz run like 4 seconds down the first baseline. Like you're turning the game on to watch it, or you're watching highlights. Like this is just something that's going to make baseball, I guess, a little bit more popular again in America.
Right. Yeah, he's having a great season. Hope he keeps it up. I
hope so too.
And I think he'll be a Red for a little bit too. Hopefully, if they're not stupid.
Yeah, I mean, but they're the Reds, so you never know.
Yeah, their owner's an idiot. So
yeah.
The next team in the division is the Brewers at 48 and 41.
Okay.
And the Brewers to me are just one of those teams that are just never bad, but they never really get over the hump. The bullpen has been pretty elite, and the bats are never to be feared. And I also wonder if Christian Yelich ever goes back to being himself. But the team still has a chance to win the division, obviously. But I just like Ellie De La Cruz and the Reds' chances a little bit more. The batting 300 is and their pitching is serviceable enough to get them over. But the Brewers, they're all right. And the standouts here are Joel Pamps with a gross ERA of 1.37. And I know I just trashed Yelich, but he's at a respectable 2.87, and he might be the only offense in Milwaukee though.
Yeah, so. Unfortunately, I don't think Yelich ever goes back to what he was when, I think it was his first season in Milwaukee or one of his last seasons in Miami, where he was just on a tear and he was in the MVP race for the entire season. But I mean, like you said, Milwaukee's always there. They just don't do anything with it. So
right. And honestly, like I say, the pitching is pretty good, but like this year it's been pretty average. Usually the pitching is decent, but this year it's been average, and I don't know if it puts them over the top. The division's trash though, so anything's possible.
Yeah, that's true.
And next we have the Chicago Cubs sitting at 41 and 47. The consensus is that the rebuild is on in Chicago after the shedding of the players of the 2017 World Series team last season, and it's actually going okay. They are mediocre. Cody Bellinger is the only name on the team, and that's okay. It's still rebuild time, and maybe next season will look a little bit better when the new prospects are put out in the field and a little more money is spent. But the bullpen of this team does no favors.
Yeah.
And congrats for finally getting a win at Yankee Stadium for the first time in history.
Yeah, I saw that and it blew my mind. I was like, wait, the Cubs have never won at Yankee Stadium ever.
They've never won at Yankee Stadium. So, the rebuild's on. They're mediocre. Lovable losers, right? Isn't that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they're keeping that name for a little bit, but maybe they'll be better next year. And then my standouts, the easy answer is Cody, but Chris Morrill is hitting home runs like crazy and is probably on pace for at least 25 with him at 15. He might have one more or two more by the time I've written this, or the time that this was written, but he had 15, and that's pretty decent.
It is.
So
it's not bad. I mean, yeah, lovable losers. That's about it.
Yeah,
that's all you can say.
The rebuild's not bad though, so at least they know that they're rebuilding.
Yeah,
I think that's the first step.
They've accepted it.
Yeah, And
Perfect.
next we have the Pittsburgh Pirates, 40-48. Another team amidst a rebuild, but also seeing some promise within it. McCutcheon is still good. The team otherwise is still young. But good lord, does this pitching staff need a serious change up, man.
Yeah, they
Like,
do.
just absolutely are like, I have here that like at multiple guys with an ERA of 4 is concerning and 1/5 is ghastly. Like, until next year, Pirates, but you shouldn't be upset with what you see because it might be the best you can get out of them.
Yeah,
They're not bad.
Their pitching is atrocious, man. Like I don't get it. Like Oviedo pitching 4.75, Rich Hill 4.78, Contreras 6.59, Ortiz 4.86. Like the only starting pitcher they have that's under 4 is Mitch Keller, who's at 3.31.
Right.
And that's like that's so bad, man. That is so bad.
So, but at least they also admit they're in a rebuild, and they also did pay Brian Reynolds, which was very shocking for them.
Yeah, that's something they
Usually
don't do very
spend,
often.
Yeah, they don't spend money on players, so they rewarded him for being good.
Yeah.
So, the Pirates, better luck next season.
Yeah, really sad thing for the Pirates was, I mean, I don't know if they'd be any better, but O'Neal Cruz fractured his ankle in like the first week of the season. He's out for the entire season. So, I mean, I don't know if that makes Pittsburgh any better than what they are now, but
couple wins maybe better. Couple wins better.
It gives them a little bit of hope left if O'Neal Cruz is still there.
And then next we have the last place team in this division, the St. Louis Cardinals at 36-52.
Yeah, how did this happen, bro?
What even happened? Wow. Like first to last. Like usually they have good talent with like mixed result with like some mixed average to below average players, and they usually eke it out.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's maybe because you guys favor vets over younger prospects and proceed to throw out those prospects like yesterday's trash. And let's be honest, the hitting's not even the problem here. And we just talked about the Pirates pitching, but good lord, is the Cardinals pitching up just absolute garbage. A leakage of runs from old washed guys. Like, who thought Adam Wainwright was good as your ace? How old is he now? 36, 37?
He's got to be almost 40.
Who thought trotting out Adam Wainwright as your ace was a good idea?
Well, I mean, they don't have anybody left, bro. They gave up everybody for Arenado back in the day.
Yeah. Multiple guys with over 5, 6, 7 ERA.
I don't even see Adam Wainwright on their thing anymore. I'm pretty sure he's on the injured list.
Is he IL? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but they did start the season with him at the ace. So that just shows you how much they're pitching.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty's their guy now. Jack Flaherty's their ace now, but I mean, even he's not having a great season in the way that he probably should be. Jordan Montgomery is literally their best pitcher at 3.23 ERA. Everybody else is up. Yeah. Adam Wainwright, here you go. Ready? He started 11 games. He's 3-4. His ERA is 7.66.
He was their ace.
Bro, their ace. It is he's 41 years old. It is time to go, bro. Please retire. Yeah. Yadi Molina retired, bro. You can retire too, Wainwright. You can retire too.
Right. And just remember, Cards fans, Arenado probably won't stay. He really likes trades from bad teams. So
expect an Arenado trade in the next year.
Yeah. If you keep it up.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, there's some standouts in this team. Paul Goldschmidt's he's still keeping up with the Joneses of the league.
Mm-hmm.
Not as impressive as last year, of course, but 288 average for a player's 35 is pretty good in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, and Arenado's also been okay. He hasn't been what he should be, in my opinion, but I don't think if you guys say that, Cards fans, like, good luck. You're not keeping him.
Like, man, imagine if Albert Pujols was still on this team.
Yeah, he's gonna
Freaking-
cry his way. Yeah, Albert Pujols, so he can get what 2 at bats per season for the season.
Yeah, that, and they bring their average age up to like 40.
Yeah, so yeah, get rid of the old guys. You guys wasted so many prospects, like so many good prospect. I'm pretty sure Ellie Taylor Cruz was a Cardinals prospect at one point. So
he was, and so was Randy Arozarena, bro. Like, and now the
there
Rays
you go. Yeah,
Randy's thriving.
exactly.
Guess she's got to get us.
Get rid of your old guys. Yeah.
Right.
So that was the NL Central. We're almost done with the National League here.
The last division, brother. The
last division. The NL West.
Ooh,
the NL West. Actually, a very competitive division. And
which it hasn't been, so this is good to see.
Right. And the NL West, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks, who have the lead. I don't know if that still rings true as we record, but
they're tied.
They're tied. Okay, 51-38 as I had it. Another surprise leader on the list. The Diamondbacks were probably predicted to be quite haphazard this season. Have taken the NL West at the All-Star break, and this team honestly doesn't even have that many names, but yet they keep winning and holding off the Dodgers. But I think the real question Diamondbacks fans have in their head is, are we gonna keep winning?
Yeah.
But does it wear off? But I think they have a legit reason to think postseason this year.
Yeah.
They're pretty decent.
They've been better than expected. I know the Rays played them and they kind of just took us to town. So
right.
I don't know, man. So it's good to see a different team not named the Dodgers.
Right, be pretty good. I mean, they're going to compete with the Dodgers. They're kind of like the Giants last year a little bit, or like the year before, where no one really expected them to be that good, but they competed with the Dodgers for the division.
Yeah.
And the standouts here is Ketel Marte with an all-around player. He's got a hot stick right now with 44 RBI. And Corbin Carroll also having a really good season, career high, with an even hotter stick of a 292 average. He hits bombs. He's doing pretty good. Also, the pitching staff should not be overlooked as well. We were talking earlier about Zach Gallen before the pod. Just underrated. He's worked out for them. Hopefully they stay healthy and they compete with the Dodgers for the division here this season.
I hope they do. It's good like I said, it's good to see a team not named the LA Dodgers be winning the division. So I love Corbin Carroll. He played a little bit last season near the end. I think he said he played about 20 games. So
I was gonna say the Diamondbacks were hot at the end of the last season, so they did keep it up from what they had.
Yeah, it's good to see it, and especially with Ketel Marte, another big guy. Christian Walker's having another good season for them. Gerardo Perdomo, I think his name is. If I butchered that, oh well, I'm white. What do you expect? Trying to say a Spanish name, but he's balling out too. So it's good to see. It's good to see these young guys and a team like the Diamondbacks who've really struggled over the last few years finally come into and hopefully winning the division.
Right.
But let's go to
talk about
money hungry. Let's go.
The division holders are the division champs from last year,
Always,
the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're as we just said, they're tied. I had them at 50-38. They're tied with the Diamondbacks, I believe, at like 52 something, 52-40 something, and yeah, the Dodgers is one of the MLB's most hated. But honestly, they're still kind of the top dog that we've known them to be. And they still have a murderous row of hitters and a lethal starting rotation. They did until they all went down with injury, of course. But I'm sure some of them will come back. I think this team's goal is beyond winning the NL West right now. They might be a little bit unfocused in that aspect.
Yeah.
Or even the NL pennant is not what they're looking for. It's just, can we squeeze another World Series out of this team? I'm sure Mookie wants it. I'm sure Clayton wants it. And they've done a good enough job restocking the team to do it. So once again, we talked to a bunch of teams how like they're not doing the best. They're not doing like what they're usually doing, but the Dodgers are a team that are probably going to reload at the deadline.
Yeah.
And just hopefully and push themselves to the postseason. But I think maybe beat the Diamondbacks in a series first, and maybe we'll talk.
Yeah, they got to do that.
They've only played them twice in 2 series, but still they tied and they lost. So the standouts here, Freddie Freeman. Oh my goodness, an alien right now with a 320 average, and as well as a Mookie Betts, who still looked good even when he's gotten older, with 26 homers before the break. He might have a couple more as well in there, but 26 homers before the break is gross. Murder's Row in the lineup. They got batters. They lost batters, but they just replaced them.
Yeah, they always do, bro. They always do. It's like the Yankees. They always find a way to get the best players in their team and continue to compete every year. So,
right.
It's the freaking Dodgers, man. I'm so over the Dodgers.
They'll be good. I know that. Will they win the World Series or will they go to the World Series? I do not know that. Not so high on them.
We'll find out.
The next team, third place, San Francisco Giants, sitting at 47-41. And the Giants are a little bit of a tricky team to evaluate because they're somewhere in the middle of good, not great.
Yeah.
And for a group that shed a lot of veterans and stuff like that, it's looking pretty okay for them. Like they look okay. And I don't think the catcher having the best batting average is what you expected out of this team. But
definitely
I think a wild card could happen, and you definitely didn't expect that either. And so they could get a wild card. They're still swimming around that area, and they have okay talent. The pitching's been okay, and I totally forgot what the catcher's name is. Josh Bailey. Patrick Bailey, something like that. Patrick Bailey. He's looking like the next Buster Posey out there. Like you lost Buster, but it looks like you just got him again.
You gained Patrick.
You gained Patrick. I think they're good enough to hunt for a wild card since there is 2 now.
3.
So that helps. Or there's 3 now. Sorry, baseball fans. There's 3 now. They're still in it. They're still in it. Do they win the division? No. The Diamondbacks and the Dodgers will be wrestling for that, but I think they're good enough for a wild card.
Yeah, the
Giants. And then next we have the Padres.
Yeah, the Padres are a joke, but the Giants are currently in 3rd place in the wild card. They're a half game above the Phillies and the Brewers for that 3rd place wild card spot. So I mean they're in the hunt. So we'll see. I don't know, man. I don't think they held on. I don't think they have the talent to. Compared to like the Phillies who are right behind them to hold on for the rest of the season.
Right. They don't have the lineup like Philly does, of course, but
they're
not bad, which is more than what they expected to be.
That's true.
So, and then next, San Diego, like Chris said, they're a joke. I said, what a joke. It's a team that spends so much money just to be mediocre. So be glad you don't play in a big market like the Mets. Otherwise, this team would be ridiculed just as much as them.
They'd be the laughing stock, bro.
Yeah, they would be the laughing stock. How this core is at a losing record with the names they employ, pitching and hitting wise, is beyond my comprehension. The team is still young, and so I think they'll stick around a little bit. They'll still be competitive, but at this point, you should have been at least to a World Series with the talent that's there. Like, are you serious? You have Yu Darvish as your ace. You have Machado. You have Juan Soto. You have Tatis. You have just this insane lineup of names. Like, And like,
it's baffling, bro, isn't it? Isn't it
yeah,
baffling? Like it's just like this. Like teams like the Rays who don't spend money, like are
yeah,
winning divisions, and then you got the teams like the Padres who are spending 400 million, 500 million, are
on a
literally
payroll.
sitting
Yeah,
in fourth place in their division.
right.
That's
With a
baseball for
losing
you, though.
record. Like, maybe they should have been a World Series, but maybe Tatis will inconvenience the team with another PED suspension, and they'll go deep. But for now, fourth in the West is not good enough.
Not
It's
even
not.
close. No.
And the standouts, I mean, like I said, the stars are still doing their thing. They're still shining. Juan Soto and Tatis Jr. still elite
Hmm.
and could still carry any lineup in the league
Yeah.
for sure. Like I know any other team would take them in a heartbeat,
Yeah, for sure.
but it would be nice if Manny played to his contract.
Yeah, homie
Played
got.
up to. He's not having a bad season either,
No.
but it would be nice if he played to his contract.
Yeah, it would be great.
And then we
Maybe
have
the last
go ahead.
team. Here we are, the
Yeah,
last
we have the
team.
last team. The last team. Oh
Ooh.
boy, the Colorado Rockies, among the worst with the Athletics and the Royals and the Cardinals a little bit, but I think nothing sums up this Rockies season better than just getting completely ass blasted like 25-1 by
Yeah.
the Angels.
Yeah,
This
the Angels of
team,
all teams.
yeah, we talked about how the Angels are middlingly average and have all this talent. Well, I mean they have talent, so I mean 25 runs should be scored every night, but still, like it's a team that has no purpose, and it really just seems to want the season to be over. Like I bet paying Chris Bryant all that money felt good for like a day. At this point, the only goal this team has is to be the NL West punching bag and a bounce back series win for any other team. maybe one day Rockies fans will see a good team, but this season isn't it.
No.
Yeah, and the standouts here is Elias Diaz, solid season, 277, the team leading 9 home runs.
Oh my gosh.
But he'll be traded by deadline for sure.
Team leading 9 home runs, bro. That is
9 home
that
runs.
sums up the season right there. If your leading player is only 9 home runs, like, oh my gosh, bro. What a shambolic season.
Yeah. I think the owner said before the season that this team will be 500. Give me a break. This team will be less than 500.
Yeah, bro. I don't get it. Hey, we made it through all 9. What is that? All 6 divisions. But
all 6 divisions.
Like AJ, mad props to you for the work you put into this. It's true. It was a pleasure to hear your thoughts and your research and just the overall arching MLB season as we hit the All-Star break. Right. I definitely am a lot more invested in baseball this season than in years past, but I mean this just shows the cake at how much you care about sports and baseball in general. So thanks for leading our main segment in baseball today. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. Okay, let's do this before we close out main segment. Who is your World Series matchup and who you got winning?
My World Series matchup is probably Astros. Shoot, who will I pick in the NL? I'll go Astro Braves rematch.
Okay.
And I'll have the Braves winning again.
All right. I like that. I was gonna go relatively the same. Taking the Braves. We're gonna see Braves Dodgers in that NL conference. What is it? NLCS championship series.
Yeah, champion series. Yeah.
All right. We'll see the Braves Dodgers there. Braves win it, and then I think the Rays push through, but like, man, our bullpen just sucks, and I want to biasly put us in there against the Braves, and it'd be a cool thing to go in this World Series against them. But I'm gonna go with the Rangers, Braves, and I'll take the Braves to win another World Series. I think they're just too good. I think they're too good.
All right, they are too good. They're too hot.
Yeah, and they're going to continue to stay hot with their roster. So, all right, that'll wrap up our main segment today. AJ, thanks so much for giving us a deep dive into baseball. we're going to be doing a lot of diving in the future in other sports. Football season's around the corner. We'll be talking fantasy football soon. We'll be talking our top players to look out for this season, as well as doing an in-dive depth into the teams and what we think will happen this NFL season. Premier League soccer is right around the corner as well. We're looking at about a month away from that. I think in the next couple weeks, we'll be doing a big dive in deep into the Premier League and the 20 teams that are playing this season. And we'll get to kind of give our predictions and get to just kind of talk about and have some fun and talk about that some more. And then basketball season in October. Next week, we're going to talk about summer league and just the things that are going on with free agency and trades. Maybe we'll get a Damian Lillard trade by the time that next week's podcast comes out, but I highly doubt it. So I'm looking forward to that. But with that, at the ZBK podcast, AJ, thanks again so much. I'm Chris, and AJ, I hope you have a great rest of your week, brother. We'll see you all next week.
Of course. See you
Peace.
next week.
Cool down.